For 40 years, the Environmental Protection Agency has been protecting the health and environment of America. And now it's time for us to show our appreciation. So on behalf of the American public and the Venice Eco Fest, I am honored to present the Heart of Humanity Award to the EPA, and especially to the current EPA Administrator herself, Lisa P. Jackson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amy. Wow, this is cool. It is an honor to accept this award on behalf of the 18,000 plus EPA employees and all the workers who over 40 years have helped bring cleaner air, cleaner water, and cleaner land to our country. 40 years with this agency has meant that we have a legacy now of strong environmental laws and an expectation on the part of Americans that we will and must protect them from the ravages of environmental pollution. Over the next 40 years, it's my hope that this agency will continue to grow, that we'll deal with the issues of our time, climate change and environmental justice, and of course, especially now, the BP oil spill, the greatest environmental disaster of our time. It's important for us to remember as we face this latest challenge that not far from where you're standing, at Santa Barbara, in 1969, an oil spill changed everything. Changed our environmental protection legacy and created the EPA. So thank you, America, and thanks to the Venice Eco Fest, and thanks, Amy, for remembering all the EPA workers and employees who've struggled for making our environment a cleaner, more sustainable, more healthy place.
Hi everybody, this is Michael Haney, founder of GreenPlanetSearch.com, and I have the honor today of speaking with Administrator Jackson. And Lisa, I know you just received the Heart for Humanity Award for the EPA, and certainly have to be a proud moment for you. And we wanted to ask you a couple questions. I'd like for you to elaborate maybe a little bit on some of the points you just made, particularly about the 40th anniversary of the EPA.
That's right, EPA is 40 years old this year. We'll actually celebrate in December, but what an anniversary, and what a connection, really, to this place here in California, where activism really was part of what formed EPA. People taken to the streets angry about the fact that their air wasn't clean, that they could literally see pollution, that water pollution had gotten so bad that many of our rivers were in such poor shape. We even had the Cuyahoga out in Ohio that was on fire. And so, you know, it's very meaningful for me to be head of the Obama EPA 40 years later and think about what the next 40 years will bring for us.
Yeah. The actual anniversary of the EPA is December 2nd, so what's special about today's date?
Well, June 9th was the date that President Nixon signed the original executive order to establish the Environmental Protection Agency, and December 2nd is when we actually came to be. So we'll actually celebrate in December.
What are some of the greatest challenges that the EPA faces today?
You know, in some ways the environmental challenges are very much the same, but then we have a few new ones. The ones that are the same are clean air. Even today, tens of thousands of people, especially children, especially our elderly, people with heart and lung disease, literally are dying, going to hospitals because of poor air quality around our cities, but more and more even in our rural areas as well. Clean water remains a challenge for us, not so much from point sources, but from what we call runoff, from the kind of pollution that happens when it rains and water travels through our streets, through our fertilized lawns, through our farms, and into our water systems. And then there's new challenges. A recent study said that a child born today might have up to 200 or 300 different chemicals in his or her cord blood. That's all the product of our society, and it's showing up in our bodies at levels that, frankly, our science can't tell us what it means for us. And so whether it's a disease like autism, which has become an epidemic in our country, or cancers, we have to fight all those things at the source.
Wow. Is there anything else that you would like to say, perhaps, about the role of the EPA in dealing with the oil spill that has not been yet addressed?
Yeah, you know, this BP's oil gusher in the Gulf of Mexico continues as we sit here today. It's my hope that soon BP will actually stop the pollution at its source, but that will still leave us with cleaning up the worst environmental release and disaster that this country has ever seen. And EPA's role so far has been one of working for clean air. So since very early on, we were taking air samples all along the Gulf Coast region, water samples, sediment samples, looking for the constituents of oil, looking for the constituents in the dispersing chemicals to first and foremost ensure that we were doing no further harm in trying to clean up this oil. Now the long-term, cleanup of the Gulf is something, that's my home. I grew up in New Orleans. That's going to be our challenge, and although that's a very resilient ecosystem, it's going to take us a long time to clean up. And EPA is going to be there. The President's made it clear we're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's
Thanks,
an
Mike.
absolute honor to meet you.
Good luck to you.
Thank
Thanks.
you so much.